city don't sleep.
9 years after Muhammad Ali's last fight, he still drew thunderous applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest.
I don't know why, but they always save me for last.
But in a matter of weeks, the 48-year-old boxing legend would be pulled onto center stage of a crisis unfolding in a war zone.
It was very nice. There's a lot of history in Iraq. There was a place where the Euphrates and the Tigris River comes together, and they say that was the Garden of Eden.
Well, General Motors had an office over there. It was a fairly safe environment. I didn't feel threatened whatsoever.
We found the Iraqi people very friendly. They were very good people, but deathly afraid of Saddam Hussein and his regime.
Saddam Hussein ruled his people ruthlessly and menaced other nations with a fearsome military. On August 2nd, 1990, he sent his troops across the border into tiny, oil-rich Kuwait.
The dictator of Iraq invaded a small and helpless neighbor.
My husband was in the hotel. He called and he said, I don't know what's going on. There are a lot of tanks down there on the street and there's a lot of commotion and chaos.
Harry Brill Edwards, an aviation executive from New Jersey, was in Kuwait on an overnight business trip. His timing proved disastrous. Brill Edwards was seized and roughed up by Iraqi troops. He'd be among thousands of foreign nationals brought to Iraq as prisoners.
This general came in and he informed us that we would be dealing with the military, but not to fear, we were guests of Saddam. Things kind of deteriorated from there.
3 guys came by the office and told me that they were going to issue an exit visa in my passport so that I could leave the country. Once we got in the car, they told me just point blank that they lied to me, that I was going to be a guest of the government. I was going to be a hostage.
When the time went on, especially after a month, 6 weeks, I realized, is he coming back? That is nerve-wracking. You know, he can't eat, he can't sleep.
2 months into the crisis, she got unsettling news from the State Department. Saddam was using her husband as a human shield. Brill Edwards was one of hundreds of hostages held at strategic posts to deter U.S.-led military strikes.
It was clear to us that once the war started, that the oil refineries were probably going to be hit first. They had Iraqi guards there 24/7. One bomb hitting that gas refinery and the whole place would go up.
And so we were just bargaining chips.
The United States has no quarrel with the Iraqi people. Our quarrel is with Iraq's dictator and with his aggression.
For the first 2 months of captivity, Anderson was relatively lucky. He was with his wife, Genola. But in October, Saddam released the women and children.
Just all of a sudden, out of the blue, they said the women and children are going. If we can go, why can't Bobby and them go too?
To see her drive away was pretty sad. I kind of thought I'd never see her again.
It is so decided.
The UN resolution demanded that Saddam pull his troops out of Kuwait by January 15th or face grave consequences.
We did know that the coalition was being formed. We knew something was going to happen, and it didn't look good. Once any sort of invasion started, I was afraid they would kill us, the Iraqis.
That left the fate of 15 of Saddam's last human shields in the hands of an unlikely diplomat.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali has just refused to be inducted into the United States Armed Forces.
In 1967, he'd risked his boxing career and prison when he refused to enlist on religious grounds during the Vietnam War.
And I'd like to say to those critics of the press and to the others that there is one hell of a lot of difference in fighting in the ring and going to war in Vietnam.
23 years later, the three-time world champ would take another bold stand. He went to Iraq at the invitation of a peace organization led by Ramsey Clark, the former U.S. Attorney General. The group hoped Ali's global popularity and enormous prestige in the Muslim world might prevent a war. Ali wanted to help the peace process, but his immediate aim was to bring U.S. hostages back home. Assisting Ali was a liaison from the U.S. Embassy, Vernon Norred.
He was a hero of mine. It was well announced to the Iraqis that Muhammad Ali, world champion, world-renowned hero, is now in Baghdad.